In this video, I'm going to show you how to diagnose a turbo vehicle that makes little or no power and it just doesn't feel like it has a turbo. And it could also be hesitating or even stalling in some cases, and it just doesn't feel right. So this is a scenario here. One of my customers, I basically made him an upgrade kit to install on his turbo, and he did all the rebuild and everything himself. So he contacts me and is saying, well, it ran great for about a month, and then for some reason it's just not making power. And I was saying, you need to do a boost leak test. And he's like, well, what's that? And I was like, I tried to explain it to him. I was like, yeah, I got some other videos, check these out. And then so he gets back with me and he's like, I think I need to replace the cartridge or the turbo. Could you have a cartridge for sale? I was like, you don't need to be messing with that. You already rebuilt the turbo. And I asked him, is it blowing oil? He said no. And I was like, okay, your turbo's fine. So anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you how to diagnose the problem that he was having. And this is the actual truck. This is the actual customer that had called me. And I was like, you need to do boost leak tests. So I made a boost leak tester, brought him here, and we did the test. And the compressor housing O-ring was just completely destroyed. So that was the main problem. And then we found another small boost leak, but the main concept here is learning how and why to do a boost leak test. You're doing it because the vehicle's hesitating and it's just not making power, so it's clearly not compressing the air into the engine. Here's what the compressor housing O-ring looked like when we removed the compressor housing. When we did the boost leak test the first time, it was spitting a lot of bubbles out between the compressor housing and the seal plate. We found 4 leaks total. One was the major leak at the compressor housing and the plate where the O-ring was busted. The other leak that we found was, well, 2 leaks were at this hose right here where it was leaking at that part and the other part connected to the valve cover. The 4th leak that we found was one of the nuts that holds down the intake plenum. It was leaking out of it for some reason. So he tightened it down a little bit more and it sealed that leak. Here's the leak that I was talking about that was coming out of the intake plenum where it was coming out of the nut and washer there. It's also a really good idea to check the intercooler too. Another truck that I was working on recently, the problem was the intercooler had a hole in it. Okay.